That's Nick.
And that's Joseph. And today we're here to talk about Not Another Church Movie, the directorial debut of Johnny Mack, which Briarcliff Entertainment is releasing May 10th, 2024.
Directorial debut. What is Not Another Church Movie about? Taylor Harry is commanded by God to write a movie inspired by his crazy, dysfunctional family, but the devil has his own devious plans in this hilarious spoof comedy. What's your pull quote?
While the production value suggests its micro-budget was completely absorbed by the impressive cast lineup, Not Another Church Movie is more funny and daring than the films of the director it's criticizing, but, more importantly, exemplifies the comedic acumen necessary for a successful parody, something Tyler Perry himself could never do.
Mine. For those who are familiar with Tyler Perry's work and question his piety, Not Another Church Movie will prove to be a thoroughly entertaining parody. Yeah, I laughed a lot. The production is raggedy.
It looked cheap as hell.
For sure. But I laughed more than I laugh at any Madea movie.
Well, because it for anybody that has, as you said, consumed Tyler Perry's films, all of this, I think almost everything lands, really.
Yeah, I was reading people's comments about it. It's getting poorly reviewed. But I think I think it's pretty spot on making fun of Tyler Perry's work.
I agree, and it's just, so if people that are hypercritical of this, I would assume you'd think the same of Tyler Perry's films then, and that translates to you not liking this film?
The story, I think appropriately, makes no damn sense, like most Madea movies.
Yeah.
But it's basically, Oprah Winfrey is being parodied by a character named Harpo Windfall. Is that her name?
Harpo Windfall?
Windfall? Something crazy, but it's supposed to be Oprah. And so in the beginning of the film, Oprah is saying that she needs to pass the torch to someone else to be an inspiration to black women. And it seems that Oprah is above God because she calls God and tells God, this is what you need to do. And God is played by Jamie Foxx, which we'll get to. But essentially, God is trying to find this next sort of savior for black women. And he does so by blowing a leaf out into the world. Or not a leaf, a feather. But of course, if there's God, there's the devil. And the devil is played by Mickey Rourke, which we will talk about too. But that's basically the story, because the middle hour 15 is just pure nonsense. It's just making fun of Tyler Perry's work. It would seem that the main character, Taylor Harry, whose name is spelled like Pherry, so there's a joke about him being having a little sugar in his tank and saying that the P is silent. But this character is basically like how Tyler Perry plays in the Madea movies, plays Madea, Uncle Joe, and the son of Madea, who's a lawyer. So Taylor Harry is played by
Kevin Daniels.
And it's just basically him, the lawyer version of him trying to write this script. It makes no damn sense.
Well, Jamie Foxx's God speaks to him saying he's got to save black women. And then God tells him he has to write a movie.
Well, the movie will help him achieve this goal. So in the end, he does write the script and goes to church. And Oprah shows up and basically passes the torch to him. The end.
I mean, it makes no...
It doesn't.
And there are a whole bunch of other characters in there that are a conglomeration of cliches you've seen throughout his work.
So the downside, of course, is the production value. What are the positives? I think this is a really fun cast. And I couldn't help but think of the movie we reviewed, Back on the Strip. Where it is also a very impressive comedic cast, like Wesley Snipes, Kevin Hart, Tiffany Haddish, Gary Owen, Bill Bellamy, Faison Love, just so many great people, but then the end result also feels cheap and not funny. It didn't even seem like these people were having fun on set. This movie also has a really cool cast, and they all seem to be really having a good time.
Yeah, and I think that the bones of the jokes written for the script by the director, Johnny Mack, who has some experience with parody, who wrote a couple episodes of Real Husbands of Hollywood. So this feels kind of in keeping with that as well.
So the cast, Jamie Foxx is God. It looks like maybe they had him on set for a day, and it's like green screen, him like in heaven at a big table with some other people. I think the least funny portion of the film is Jamie Foxx as God.
It's very one note. There's nowhere to go with it.
The humor feels dated. He kind of is just rambling on about. Again, it seems like they had him for a limited time and just let him go off. And then they probably used what they could to try to make sense and piece together something that blends into the narrative. I don't really think it does at all. You already mentioned when God is speaking to Taylor, it's via like TV and the visual is like very staticky. Pixelated. So I don't even know if that like Jamie Foxx was there to film that portion, or maybe they just used imagery of him and blurred it out and then had his voice talking random stuff.
But this version of heaven, God seems less omnipotent than Black Twitter.
Yes, actually. But I think the devil was more fun because Mickey Rourke wearing this kind of fierce little red number. He looks crazy. He knows he does, I'm sure.
He looks crazy.
But he seemed like he was enjoying himself.
The depiction of hell in Lil Nas X's Montero looked better, I think, than the hellscape
It did,
does here.
yes. But I enjoyed, and I would bet money that he probably didn't really even know what this movie was about. He just
say these lines.
Yeah, run me my money and I'll do these lines. Then we have Vivica Fox playing Judge Loreal, which I'm assuming is a play on Judge Maybelline Ephraim because she's also wearing that little pussycat wig. Mm-hmm. But I thought Vivica Fox was funny as the judge.
Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh my God. Maybe my favorite character is Kevin Daniels as Medea and Taylor. He, I think, does this better than Tyler Perry does.
He does. But again, there's that self-awareness that makes it much kind of harder. And it's not Medea in this. It's
Madude. And for the entire film, like, are they saying Madude? I think it's saying Madude, but because like it's clearly a man in a dress. Mm-hmm. I thought that was funny. Also, Kevin Daniels as Madude. Dude. I swear, all I could see was Miles J.
And after you said that, yes.
The social media person from back in the day. But yeah, I really enjoyed him. But aside from him, I think the character that made me laugh the most is Tisha Campbell is playing Flora Black, who's obviously a play on Cora Brown, Tamala Mann's character. And you were going to say...
Her ass padding.
Her shapewear and how they patted her looks it's so disrespectful. And I was laughing the entire time.
There's a scene where Tisha Campbell is sitting.
And her ass... She looks like she has something behind her. Like...
That's gonna get her.
And at one point she's even singing and like kind of singing a play on Take Me to the King. I thought that was funny. Then we have her in church getting the spirit and dancing around. I thought every second of Tisha Campbell was funny.
It's like sometimes they're so aware how raggedy it is that they're embracing it.
It was fun. Yeah. I had fun. Mm-hmm. You know I love Jasmine Guy.
Yes.
I still have her album on my playlist, but her one and only album. But she's playing a character named Ms. Mildew.
Ms. Mildew.
And
she looks like that.
And I don't even think that I don't think they put any makeup on Jasmine Guy. She just looks mean, and she's like the local babysitter. Like she has a daycare center out of her apartment, but she has these kids running drugs for her. I thought that was so funny.
She's got a Jerry Blank wig on.
Yes. Yes. I would say the two main female characters are Kyla Pratt's in the thing. Mm-hmm. And then there's a character named Julie played by Kiara Schroeder, who's stunning. And Kyla Pratt also looks amazing. Yes. She looks like she's 20, but they're really funny.
But she's... Julie's her character name. She's playing like the template for the typical Tyler Perry heroine that's downtrodden, has terrible relationships with
Kyla Pratt's character, and then the Kiara's character is playing the typical Tyler Perry like ultra beautiful woman who's like a lawyer, but like her lawyering is questionable because the person writing it doesn't know what they're talking about. Then there is a gentleman named James Michael Cummings, this like rugged older white gentleman who's quite handsome, but I thought it was funny that they have him playing like 4 different characters who are all basically like the man, like Whitey. I thought that was funny.
Sounded like Dr. Evil in one scene.
Yeah. So I think this is really fun. Pierre Edwards, the comedian who I haven't seen in a long time, he's in it as a bus driver. I thought he was really funny. But I thought I would, just to prove how funny I thought it was, I wrote down some quotes that I thought really proved that the writer... Because, you know, sometimes it seems like these films, a person who knows people pulls in some favors, gets some notable people to come in for a week, and everything feels rushed. And when things are rushed and you have to slap together a script, it's like, usually it's crappy. And I'm assuming this film, they probably also had similar circumstances, except that the writing, I really do think it had me laughing the entire time.
Well, you know, it's not that Tyler Perry's never funny as Medea. It's just, it's clear that most of whatever is happening is improv and off the fly, and whatever is coming to the top of his head in this scene, the bones of this scene he's giving people. And sometimes there are a few chuckles, but I think this goes a lot, this lands on its feet a lot better.
So Taylor Harry's character has multiple jobs. He's a lawyer, a doctor. There's a point where he says, I'm a doctor and no one's going to tell me
about my doctoring.
He runs Postmates. Like, he's very successful, lives in this huge mansion. So it's crazy. But at one point he tells a character I've been called by God to do this thing. And they go, with all your jobs, God got you pimping? Then there's another character we didn't mention.
Madude says that.
Oh, Madude says that to Taylor. Then there's another character we didn't mention who's basically like Kimberly Elise's character in Diary of a Mad Black Woman.
Yes.
And then oh my God, I didn't mention the character who's supposed to be Shamar Moore. Because Shamar Moore's character name in Diary is Orlando, but in this movie the character's name is Tallahassee, and they have him in that bootleg ass cornrow wig. And then not only do they paint abs on him, but they paint these big ass areola that I thought were so funny, and the end result was giving me like Norwood Young.
Yeah.
But I thought both of those characters were funny.
Norwood before he altered anything.
But anyway, that lady, she's arguing with her husband because he's cheating on her with these white women named Karen, like multiple Karens. And she's telling him, you've been my husband for 11 years. And he goes, yeah, and I've been cheating on you for 12. I thought that was funny. At one point, a character says, I've seen more ass on a snake.
Madude
talking about one of those white women
that he brings to the barbecue. Because there's in those Tyler Perry films, there's the obligatory family reunion, and the two people having the most violent conflict show up at the same time.
Then, what's this Lamorne?
Lamorne Morris. So they're doing. One of the few Tyler Perry movies I've never seen is Daddy's Little Girls, but I knew immediately that's what they're doing.
And his character is supposed to be Omari plays that character.
Idris.
Oh, Idris. I'm sorry.
Whose name is Monte in the film, and he's Monte Carlo.
Yes, that's right. But his character plays like an Uber black driver, and he ends up taking Chiara for a ride to like some vague business meeting. But she yells at him like, why are we stopping? And he goes, because we're here, stupid. Then,
well, they've been arguing the whole way. But
I believe it's Kyla Pratt's character gets confronted by, it's Orlando's baby mama confronts the woman he's seeing. And she goes, oh, I didn't know you were pregnant. And she goes, bitch, I ain't pregnant. This is my colostomy bag. And then you see her, she's all lumpy. That was funny. At one point, Medea's at because then they're spoofing Boo.
Boo, yeah.
And so Medea and Madude ends up at a frat Halloween party.
No, it's at her house.
Oh, it's at her house. They're throwing like a frat party. And these 3 frat boys are questioning like if Madude is a man. And she shows them her breast. And Uncle Joe is like, I told you no one wants to see those long sleeve Aretha Franklin titties.
Rude.
And then talking about Miss Mildew, I think it's Kyla Pratt's character says, I would rather work for Ellen DeGeneres than let my kids step 1 foot in that house. Like, oh my God. Of course, going back to Diary of a Mad Black Woman, there's that notable scene where Medea takes a chainsaw
and cuts everything in half.
So in this movie, Madude does it. But I thought the funniest moment of that is because all the Karens have like Karen hairdos, which are these terrible blonde wigs. So we see Madude giving chainsaw haircuts. And so they all have those haircuts people say are like white women who like black men haircuts.
Eloquent.
I thought that was funny. Oh my God, Tallahassee. He runs like a body shop and he does BBLs in the body shop.
He sucks at her.
She looks good.
She
looks real good. I think one of the more scathing scenes is, well, they're clearly playing on the fact that Tyler Perry is maybe like gay and
closeted.
So those moments where he's trying to say like, it's not Pherry, it's Harry, the P is silent. But I think probably the most scathing moment is there's a montage where we see that Taylor, Harry's character, has this woman writing all of his scripts. And then he's kind of taking glances at it saying like, God, I do good work. And then he sees like, oh, what's this? And the lady's like, it's called a storyline. Oh, well, you should put that in there. And what is this, character development? Well, let's do more of that. And he's hovering over her. And
he's like, montage. We need to put in a montage.
I don't think it's disrespectful. I don't think they went in that hard. Like, there are notable people in this who are clearly they're in a movie taking shots at Tyler Perry. I don't think it's...
Oh, they could have gone a lot harder.
They could have gone way harder. So to me, this feels like good fun.
I think a scathing scene is the basketball sequence with Tyler Harry. The Tyler Harry Silent P thing is very Young Frankenstein. It's Frankenstein to me, but the basketball scene where he has to play, he takes his shirt off.
And he's acting like a sissy bouncing that ball. Well, speaking of that, because then it's also like Madea goes to jail.
Yes.
So then Madude is in jail in the showers.
With his clothes on.
With his clothes on. Her clothes, staring at the women who are supposed to be naked showering. And Madude gets an erection, like a big old erection. I thought that was funny. And then at the final scene at the church where Oprah presents Tyler with, like, passes the torch to him, Madea shows up, and then it's like Medea's homecoming, where she's dressed like Beyonce at Coachella. And I actually thought that was funnier than at the end of Medea's homecoming. I don't know, we were talking about this after we watched it, and I think the issue with Tyler Perry's Madea as time goes on is he doesn't have the freedom to really let loose.
He doesn't give himself the freedom. He has all the money to have all the freedom he wants.
Sure. So I think he feels very restricted. As someone who saw him on stage back in the early 2000s, like dozens and dozens of times, he was a lot more fun and irreverent back then. But now he's stiff, and I think this movie and Kevin Daniels as Madude and Taylor reminded me of why I thought Tyler Perry was funny back in the day.
Tyler Perry, he's stiff, he's too earnest, he's not being honest about a lot of things, I feel. But I think the major crime that Tyler Perry has waged against cinema is he has no passion for it.
Well, yeah, because he's not trying to do better as an artist.
He doesn't care about it as an art form. So,
but I would definitely recommend this film if it sounds funny to you, or if you are familiar with Tyler Perry, or you like the people in the movie. And I would look forward to this filmmaker's next film.
Oh, for sure.
And I also would look forward to Kevin Daniels' next comedic role, because I thought he was very funny.
He was very funny. Madude is great, but I don't know, Jasmine Guy and Tisha Campbell
were so good. And Vivica, I really did. Okay, what would you give this movie?
And final note though, if this person had had a budget, this could have been at the level of Wayans Brothers.
Like a scary movie, yeah.
I would give it, again, it's raggedy as hell. But I'm very familiar with what it's making fun of, so I'm giving it 2.5. I
agree. I can't give it higher because it is, it's not very well made. But I would recommend it 2.5 out of 5. Join us on Patreon and listen to our podcast. Bye.